You guys did it. You did it. You did it to our people. In fact, you guys brought it on our people. But for far too long, how do you want to press Ugandans to the wall? I mean, any Ugandan of clarity of mind, how on earth do you come to justify things that are not true? Things that are not factual? And you are big, you are great, you are a person we should respect. And in all sense, we think and we thought you were of the opposition, but it is now your turn to attack the opposition. How on earth can we do that? How on earth can we do that? And by the way, let me take you back to the Bible. For 40 years, the Israelites wandered. They were there, but God helped them out. And many times, anytime, God presented a situation, people suffered, but at the 40th year, people were delivered. Jesus walked in the wilderness. 40 years, he went out. And all of us have a responsibility to play. And how do I, Hitman, how do I, Hitler, how do I make sure that the people of Uganda are more free? How do I make sure that the people of Acholi get to be appreciated? How do I make sure that the people of Acholi land get to be compensated? Not only of the cow that you guys are talking about, and you have sung it for how many election years have been there, but how do we make sure that people whose lips were cut or the ears were cut, the arms were cut, how do we make sure they can be compensated? How do we make sure people who were cooked in pots, you guys know about them, how do I make sure they can be paid off? How do I make sure? How do I make sure? By the way, listen guys, the truth is, I'm okay. Where I am, I'm okay. At least I can afford something to eat. Where I am, at least I can have something where to sleep. And how do I make sure that not only me, but that same Ugandan who is deep down in my village in Kidgum has the same opportunity? How do I make sure that same Ugandan who is in the eastern side of the country have that same opportunity in Tesa? How do I make sure that same old man in Mbarara get the same opportunity that I do have? How do I make sure that that same Muganda boy or Muganda man who is lacking a job get that same opportunity? See, the Bible is clear. In 1 Kings 18:21, Prophet Elijah was asking, whether we should not waver between two opinions. Choose, if Lord is God, worship him. If Baal is God, worship that. So let's not be of divided opinions. For once, guys, let us stand together. Let's stand united and say enough to the NRM, the junta regime, the people who have pressed us to the wall, and we don't have the opportunity. The men and women, the young boys and girls who do not have the opportunity, the old mothers who go to hospitals and they don't have medicine in the hospitals and no good facilities to produce. How do we make sure, as the whole people of Uganda, how do we make sure that they get the same opportunity that we all have? How do we make sure? See, life is about choices. In Joshua 24:15, they were asking whether you should worship the God your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites. But Joshua says, as for me and my household, we will worship the true God. We will worship the true God. Apart from money, what other motivation makes these people big as they can be with big offices, and they can come and justify things that are not real, things that are not factual, and they tell us, and they can talk and they can joke about it, and they think we are not seeing what is happening on the ground. Day by day, people get abducted. Day by day, people go to places and they don't return. Day by day, people are not having the opportunities that they are supposed to be having. Accidents on the rampant, on the roads. People are dying. We watch on. We go to pay musicians in a whole district of Pade, Kidgum, 5 million. What a shame. Some artists would ask for $1 billion or, you know, a lot of million in Kampala, and they pay it, and that same man, they will go to our region and shamelessly we accept the money without, because we are pressed to the wall. We don't have any, you know, we don't have any say. We don't have the bargaining power to ask of that something which is big and valuable. How do we make sure, apart from this, even our Ruodi Wagiromo Chero campaigning for la chui with BMO and what a kera poco ni chan yon a tongue when don't quit umero ga kumquid away the way don't have a bolo qui mockijoni tunquid they can't pay one cake. How do we have Ruodi in that capacity? Ruod keri ini more pay taking side the car me. Luwe pe wa yeu kiti kedwan ijema tata whole day beru timuri aso me bion ka we ki chulu ina lipiara when is shameful. We cannot accept that. We cannot accept that. Of course tiana ni tiana pagamente wa chao tiana mucho kakin chulu ki miu irong mir wa chom wa gum, but at the end of the day we should desire to do good but one another. We should desire to be able to see that better Uganda. And if you think I'm lying to you, history has proven it time without numbers. Egypt under Mubarak, South Sudan, in Sudan, you saw what is happening. Of course, South Sudan is still undergoing the same stuff, but I mean, in Sudan, you saw what happened. Until recently, you saw what happened in Nepal. And if you think you are too big and you have guarded yourself with lots of tanks, you put your son in the army, is the one in charge, and everything else is in your favor, you have guarded everything around you, you have all the best army around you. When time is up, it will not protect you, it will not serve you, and you will be wandering about, and you may be airlifted, or you may just disappear with it. I don't know. I wish good for Uganda. And I don't want us to go back to war, but there is no way a government will change and it will go without war. But I wish that leaders could realize their mistakes and come to say we are sorry, and how can we navigate a way forward? Whole of the people, you don't even know whom you should be trusting. People whom you thought they were in the positions all along, they're masquerading to be opposition leaders. And they are there. They are serving interests of people we don't know. And they are there because they can be coming to talk to our people. The actually people who are losing so much. And kare enini pedak one no ni one lo chak NRM. Kauno nene wano ni dano ma yang no en maki gero wa maki war wa maki ngewa pelo kadami chinwani no one pelo twak NRM chawani. But at the end of the day, war is a choice. Kono la wheelchair ka we ke tula lipiara ngwen kono la wheelchair ka we ke timungo the whole district million a bit. That is embarrassing. You should not accept that. Niamo kene nyamwa kene. Chene was very clear ni ubino mere ke mini wu piani umiro ugam piani umiro jolo wila dit lobo uwero dange mate uchero chi uchero ungeo dana di mage supporting one ungeo dana di mapege supporting party eoni, but yet giti fund from the group. These are things mambe kachalo in the way mungu pebe showing up here. Mukan pe showing up. Ruột ini chero machalo ruột kalo me poko dana I kono campaign kono ngawe ai nong ma chen ne balu dan chen te lua chen ne ka pe ti mo gino mo eke. But even then conscience mo me go mer be clear do ker ka no ni wa chero ka ti mo gino mo pi chen ne balu tua. I think we were better no contiu man nyurni ini ni ba a ye el pa ye because kadum chena ye we wa ma timu wa jemi mo ma pe dong be mer no ti me wa rong wa ne ko down because of chena. We are doomed as a people. Luba may help us to see better days ahead of Uganda. I say this from God and my country. I feel the pain of that common Ugandan who is going through a lot. Doesn't have the opportunity to get to work to places where they can't work because their names doesn't start in a certain way. They can't go to work in a certain place, or if they are supposed to work, they should be guarding someone's gate, and they should be there trying to work at malls at the gate. I feel this. I feel